Hi, everyone. This is Steve Pick, Mortgage Loan Officer with Lake Michigan Credit Union and also a part of the MMLA, the host of your MMLA Connect podcast here. And today I'm extremely honored to have an amazing guest, Kristin Broadley. I don't think I can do an introduction justice to you, but I am so excited to have you on this podcast. Um, Tell us what you do.
Well, what I do a lot of things. Maybe I'll start off with what I've done, and that's
Yep.
gonna help inform like what I'm doing today. I've been in this business a long time, so 20 plus years. Because lady never tells. But I've been in this business a long time. When I started out, I was at a broker shop. I was a loan processor for about a year and a half. I ended up moving to Quicken Loans back when there were about 800 people. And I ended up stepping away from Rocket Mortgage when there were 21,000 team members. So I had this extraordinary opportunity to grow up with and help grow an organization like Quicken Loans and Rocket Mortgage. And I did a variety of things there. So started as a processor, underwriter, team leader, closing. I moved into capital markets and was responsible for repurchases right around the time of the credit crisis. So that was trial by fire. We fought the good fight, that's for sure, slayed some dragons. But part of that levered itself into risk. So I ended up being VP of Risk Solutions at Rocket Mortgage, Quicken Loans Rocket Mortgage, which was ended up being QC, fraud, credit strategies, credit risk, oh goodness, servicing risk. So anything, risk you can think of kind of fell under my umbrella. At the end of my career, I was vice president of enterprise risk management. So really, truly, the bulk of my career I've spent in the risk space. Did some extraordinary things with being able to help write the rep and warrant framework in 2013 as a result of the credit crisis and the crisis around repurchases. Helped build products, launch products with Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae, all things leaning into data aggregation and leveraging data to remediate risk within the origination cycle. Like there's so many punch points, but I had a great career there. But after 20 years, like, okay, what's next? So stepped away from that, became Chief Innovation Officer at QC Ally. It's a QC firm that does, extraordinary work, variable cost work, outsourcing for, mortgage originators, and stepped away from that about a year ago and kind of went out on my own. One of the things I learned when I was at QC Ally is that there is a need for deep risk management knowledge in the industry. A lot of small, mid-sized lenders, they do their very best and they do a lot of really good work. They don't have to work as hard as they do. And there's a lot that I've been exposed to that they don't necessarily have access to. So, I have an opportunity to work with these, individuals, with these lenders. I can step in on a fractional basis, like a chief risk officer, and really help build some strong foundational programs, processes, and controls, and help elevate those organizations in times of stress like we are right now, and, in times of excess like we had during the pandemic. So, that was kind of my path, the risk management journey that I did.
And so that has led you, wow, what an amazing resume that you have. And that leads you into the career, and I want to be sure that we say that at one point you said at the end of my career. Well, your career is not over. I think you meant the end of your corporate career, right? So
That's
now
right.
you're the founder of two businesses, founder and co-founder of two businesses. Explain what those businesses are for us, please.
Absolutely. Assurance Solutions. So that is the fractional consultancy that I own. And this is where I, work with different organizations, both in origination and servicing. AI risk management is now a big deal, and people are talking about that and how to, figure out those structures. So I'm out and about in the market. I'm doing panels. I'm working with the NBA. I'm working with MMLA. And sharing information, skill set and business knowledge, and then sometimes embedding in these organizations to help them grow. So that's kind of the consultancy fractional side of what I do. The other company, which is Accelerator Advisors, I'm a co-founder of. My partner, Kurt Raymond, and I we've worked together since I think like 2009. And he was a vendor, I was a client. So, as we looked into, and as I was having conversations and as we were out in this space, there's an opportunity for small fintechs in our space where they are building really niche, neat products that can really create efficiency in our market, optimize our market, both from a lending perspective and from a servicing perspective. And what I found sitting in a large lender is that you're busy running the trains. Your ability to pick your head up and look external and find solutions for problems that you have is slim to none. PRM groups are fantastic building relationships, but they don't necessarily have the depth of knowledge to know what things are broken, right? What things can be optimized, and then identify some of those vendors that are out there that can do that, right? That can build, that have that really niche expertise that can help scale an organization, create more efficiency, and save, revenue and capital. So he and I got together and we work with, 3 or 4 small fintechs. We're not looking to be, necessarily huge at the moment, but we have access to networks. We have access to knowledge. We have access, blogs and folks like you. So we can talk about these individuals. We can talk about their programs and products, and we can help them reach that inflection point and really grow, because we find a lot of value in what they're doing. And we get to curate, right? We have a lot of, we've got a lot of knowledge. We've got a lot of history in this industry. So we get to be really choosy about, those programs and products that we work with, that we're putting out into the market. Our credibility is on the table. And so when we do find those, we can be passionate about what they're doing and what they can accomplish.
Wow. I mean, there's a few things that I need to unpack from what you just, talked about there. You have such a deep understanding and knowledge of the business, and it's totally understandable why you're doing what you do, because I think, in offering what you do, you have to have that knowledge, right? You have to understand all the different aspects of what goes into, the mortgage industry, and the front end, the processing, the middle part, and the back end selling on the, secondary market, all those other things, right?
Yes.
So it's amazing that you have that knowledge, but I can see why it's turned from the corporate realm. You've had that understanding of what goes on there and what the quote unquote big boys have to do as well. And you've launched that into an entrepreneurial career, right?
Yeah.
So what, you took the big leap, and just, I want to touch on that a little bit. How long were you thinking about, starting your own business? Because I think entrepreneurship is awesome. It's, what makes this country so great. And, being a woman launching your own business in the mortgage industry takes a pretty powerful person to do that. So just wanted to touch on that a little bit here.
I appreciate that. It's a great question. So I have probably been talking about entrepreneurship and starting my own business for a couple of years. So it's been something that's been on my mind about, and at the time where I was in the corporate world, I didn't necessarily understand what the market needed. And so I couldn't figure out what my opportunity was. And then when I moved from lender to vendor, it started to become coherent what my value prop could be based upon the folks I was talking to, the conversations I was having, the value I could bring. And when you're in risk, it's an interesting space, right? People think, oh, these are very conservative individuals. These are folks that are, pumping the brakes and we're trying to hit the gas. And risk management can be a business partner that drives business versus collars it. And it just takes a mindset shift. It's benchmarking, it's tolerances, it's understanding your risk capacity, right? Your risk appetite. It is leaning into some of these spaces where you can optimize processes. It is doing all of these things where you can use data to validate versus the human to validate. There are always going to be people embedded in our programs and products. It's just the way it works. But there are ways to really remediate risk and allow these organizations to start to lend on some of the fringes, the higher DTIs, the lower FICOs. If you have certainty about your quality, you can get really creative in your marketing and your revenue strategies. And that's just not the understanding. And so
Yeah.
this is my opportunity to, talk to folks, help them build some of these structures, help them think differently about how to leverage risk. There's a lot of I think and I feel in our industry. I'm going to curtail this because I think I feel. I'm going to throw bodies at it because I think and I feel. And that just means you don't know. If you have certainty and you can make informed decisions, you can move fast. That's what risk management is. So I'm super passionate about this industry. I'm super passionate about, housing and, the underserved and, the American dream, the ability to, provide generational wealth to your families and future generations. I bought my first house when I was 21. It was $40,000, right? I was able to do that.
Yeah.
Our generations today should be able to do that. And there's a lot of ways, if we have a lot of certainty in what we're originating, we can get there. And so, there's a lot of intersectionality in all of these things, but I love the industry that I'm in. I love the certainty it provides the American people. I love the opportunity there is to do more. And so if I can do that, why wouldn't I?
Yeah. Well, you're passionate. You said passion quite a few times. And I think, from that perspective, if you have passion for something, no matter what you're doing with it, you're going to be successful. So it makes perfect sense why you're able to transition out of the corporate world and into a entrepreneurial role. So thank you for sharing that with us. That kind of leads me into WIN, which is Women's Inspirational Network, which you're a part of, and
Yes.
also mPower. So I'll let you take that away. Talking about home ownership, and single females, I think, are one of the largest, buyers of mortgages, first time purchases right now. So it's a different shift, and we're empowering women, and these organizations are built around doing those same things. But I will let you take that away.
I appreciate that. Another thing I can be passionate about, you're gonna have to cut out some of my speeches, my little stomp speeches. I'll get off my soapbox. But so one of the amazing things that I found when I stepped out on my own, and I kind of call it going out into the wild, right? Where, I didn't have I wasn't with a lender, I wasn't with a vendor, I, didn't have an agenda when I went out into these spaces. And I met some of the most and have, built a network of and become friends with and, created synergies with some of the most extraordinary women. And I know there are so many more out there and like them. And the support that I get from this network. And when they win, I win. And when I win, they win. And it is just this symbiotic relationship where it's not based on competition, but it's based on uplifting. And, when I came into the industry, so many years ago, it was a different place for women than it is today. And so being part of WIN, there's an extraordinary group of women that are that committee, creating content for the greater MMLA audience, showing mentorship, vulnerability. What I've learned over the years, when I first started leadership, I was not good at it. I had to learn over time, and it took me a long time, and it took a lot of self-work and, introspection and growth. And if I can help folks not hit some of the speed bumps I did, if I can help folks realize their dreams sooner, their life balance, all of those things, I'm all in. It really is. You get out of whatever you do, right? How much effort you put in. You and I had that conversation. I get so much toward the end of my leadership journey. My goal was to grow people. My goal, I could work for any of them. I would love to. Like, they're extraordinary people and they deserve those opportunities. If I can mentor and help grow, give people insight, things to avoid, things to lean into, then I have done my job as a human, right? I mean, it's a mortgage industry, but we're all people just trying to make our way. And so the WIN committee, they're, like I said, extraordinary women trying to help raise other women and mentor other women and provide content for other women. They're an extraordinary group of women that their true north is mentorship and leadership. And how can you not get behind that?
Well, I just want to say, I'm going to show this video clip to my daughters because your speech there was truly inspirational. I have two daughters, and having someone as well spoken as you and such a advocate of helping others, that's truly inspirational. So it's pretty cool to have you on this podcast. I feel pretty special right now, and thank you for sharing your time with us. We have an mPower event coming up that's part of the MMLA as well. So I know to do justice to Joanne and Trinity, we have to talk about the
Yes.
mPower event, and
Yes.
it's going to be a great event too. So let's get into the mPower event, and kind of maybe you can discuss what mPower is for those who don't understand what mPower is.
So yes, absolutely. So the MBA built a program. Marsha Davies built a program, mPower, and it was and is an inspirational program. It is focused on women. There are so many men that attend. It is joyous. It is inspirational. It is celebratory. It is so many things that we don't do for ourselves on a day-to-day basis, even on an annual basis. You don't often have that opportunity to celebrate. And so they bring in extraordinary individuals to have conversations, people within our industry, people outside of our industry, to help inspire for the next year. And Joanne is a wonderful human being for bringing this to Michigan. Not everybody is going to get a chance to go to these MBA events, right? That's only a chosen few. And so they're the only ones that get access to these mPower events. Joanne is bringing this to Michigan so that members and non-members can have that same experience. And we have an extraordinary panel of women who have done amazing things, have had amazing careers, that want to share that. They, like me, right? They want to share what they've learned, how they've grown, and they're giving back. This is their opportunity. They're taking time. Folks are traveling from out of state just for women and men. Men are welcome in Michigan. And so I give such kudos to the MMLA for committing to this, for working with the MBA, and for the MBA coming in and facilitating this. So we've got extraordinary folks. We've got Doreen Boucher, who is the MBA director. She's going to come and she's going to be the moderator. We've got Alice Elvey, Union Home Mortgage Company Vice President. We've got Terry Schmidt, who is the CEO of Guild Mortgage, who has done amazing things with Guild over the past few years in a tightening economy and mortgage industry market. We've got Nicole Beatty, who is the AMROC CEO, who she and I have known each other since like 2008. I got to witness her career. So growth. So I'm so happy that she's going to share that, externally with, folks from Michigan. Jennifer Bowery, who is the new CEO, Michigan First Credit Union. So it's a who's who of who's done amazing things in their career.
It's got to be pretty cool for you to be at this point and to see some of these women that you've probably met a long time ago being super successful as well. As you talked about it earlier about advocating and lifting each other up, it's got to be pretty cool to see some of these people that you said you've known reach those high levels. So what an amazing panel. It sounds like an awesome event. I'm hoping to make it. I haven't been to one yet, but I think it's because I haven't really felt like as a male that it's something that I should go to. But I'm glad that you brought that up and said men go to these events. So guys, if you're looking for something inspirational, we can learn a little something from the women. Maybe a little bit more than we think, right? So obviously, Kristin, you've been an amazingly successful person in the mortgage industry. And so we're just super appreciative of you sharing your time with us. Before we wrap things up here, can you tell us and leave us with one thing positive for the mortgage industry that we can take away from this podcast?
Yeah, I thought about that. And I think one of the most positive things that I see in the mortgage industry is its resiliency. And I've been through so many cycles, but the credit crisis of 06, 07, that was a very interesting time. We're where we are now. We're looking forward to, a September rate cut. We were hoping for it earlier in the year. People are, hanging on by the skin, by their fingernails. Some of these organizations are hanging on by their fingernails. There is such a level of resilience because of the ebb and flow of our market. because of the passion of the people that are in it. When I was a kid, I wanted to be a marine biologist. Who knew that I was going to be in mortgages for, 20 plus years and that
Yeah.
I love it? So it's a different type of person that does what we do, right? That continues to come back to it, that continues to develop it, grow, and to serve the, American, the average American, and help them in their path of home ownership. There is a level of sacrifice there a little bit, right? As you continue to hold on until the next cycle comes in. And in the meantime, you've got regulators, you've got this, you've got all this coming at us. We take it in stride, we figure it out, and we just keep going. And so resiliency, I think, is the positive thing that I see in our industry year in and year out.
Percent. I resonate with so many things that you brought up there. I've only been in the industry for a little over a decade, but so many ups and downs already, and especially coming out. I mean, we're still getting through the longest in my career lull, if you will, that we've experienced. So, I definitely feel the upswing is there. Business has been up. And phone calls and rates are down. So there really is a lot of momentum right now for people, and we should be excited about what's to come. We needed to gear up for this. And I think that's one of the things these refinance questions start trickling in as you're a loan officer, right? And it's like, okay, here we go. If those rate cuts start happening, things are really going to start, I think, going crazy. A lot more people will get off the fence and start buying or moving to that next house if the rates come down. And then also the refinances will come back too. So thank you. Resiliency, 100% resonate with that. It's been amazing to listen to you pour into our listeners and the networks and the industries that you're involved with. So again, thank you so much for taking your time today. And is there anything else you want to say before we go here, Kristin?
I just want to say thank you, Steve. Thank you for doing this. Thank you for, creating a space to have these conversations. I think it's fantastic.
It's the least I could do. I'm so excited about being able to host this podcast and talking to amazing individuals like you. So again, thanks for your time. This is me signing off for the MMLA Connect podcast. Thanks for listening.